All right, so I just kind of wanted to talk to you about the steps and stages of this assignment and where you're at and things to think about. So, this is the graffiti design project. And leading up to this point, I have made a plan. And my plan included just the basic pencil sketch where I have laid out where my words are going to be and kind of the main areas or imagery that I'm going to use for doodles. Then the second thing I'm doing, the next step is to line. And when I line, I can use my Sharpie marker. I can use a colored pencil. I can use a thin, skinny marker like a flare. And as I line, or sometimes I call it inking, I'm going to go and make all my lines bold and smooth. But I'm also going to make some areas thicker, and then some areas are going to remain thin. So that line weight variety that we've practiced on previous assignments, like the contour hand project, we're using it again here. Now, the other thing I'm doing as I line is that I am applying this doodle and noodle technique. So doodle and noodle is once I work in an area or outline it, let's say I'm going to do this arrow right here. Noodling is adding more complexity and more detail. So one thing I can do, I can make it 3D, but I can also add patterns and designs inside. So as I do this second stage or step, which is the lining, I am also adding to the complexity and the detail of my project. So then the third step is coloring. So I've already started to color here. Now you choose what you want to color with. Is it oil pastel? Is it color pencil? Maybe it is a combination of both. And I don't really have a plan ahead of time. What I'm going to do, I started out with one of my letters. And you can see that I have used that light layering technique. I have another piece here that I've been working on that's also using that light layering technique. So for instance, these two letters are finished. I've started lightly layering. I have a transition. And then my final layers are when I start adding more pressure and making it more opaque. This one I've just gotten started. So as you color, one of the things you're going to have to show or demonstrate is that you know how to do these gradually fading transitions. So I start with a really light layer of one color, then I can add two. I'm going to make this bottom part a little bit more reddish. So I'm going to add another layer of red-orange, but I am building this up slowly. I'm going to switch directions. And eventually, I am going to start pressing harder as I get to my final layers and finally make an all-over opaque covering everywhere. So even the orange, I am going to use more layers so that I can make it as rich and vibrant as possible. So not only can I do these kind of straight transitions across, so starting from one color and ending on the other, I can use transitions around the edges of objects like I did on this little guy here, where I am starting to make it look round. So most of the spaces need to have these transitions and they're gradually fading. Now, some of the spaces, I want them to be white. So if I want it to be white, I'm going to color it white. So here I have this eyeball. I want it mostly to be white. I added a little bit of light layers of black. And I have been able to build it up to be solid and look light gray. But I did still color with white. Right over here, what I did is I switched layers of a red. So I started with red, Again, really lightly. This is what's known as a flat value. Then I did a layer of violet. And I just switched back and forth and back and forth, and I made a mixed color. So I have made a color that I can't get just in my set of color pencils or oil pastel, but I've made a new color by layering them, and that's a flat value. So as you're working on these 3 steps, first your plan, which is your sketch, then your lining. As you line, you are adding complexity and detail, and then you're going to start coloring. So it takes a lot of time to do this carefully and slowly, but it will pay off in the end with your final artwork. So have fun and good luck.